live platforms. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
So okay, I'm going to move to a bit to the left, to the right actually, so that I can see the logo up there. So voice is clear, so far?
Voice is clear about
All
me.
right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, very loud and
Okay.
clear. Thank you. Yeah, great.
Dr. Baiduri, who is the host? Are there a few people wanting to get into the session, but they're not able to get into
Okay,
the session?
so we would advise them to for those outside the department, maybe they can join IUM-FM streaming the website. You can share them the website. And also comment YouTube. The YouTube is live already, right? That's for comment YouTube. Can you advise them to join from their platform? Dr. Aisha?
Sure. But I think it's already live on YouTube. So I'll share in the Deanery group as well, because the other departments can join if they want to.
Yeah. It's just that on this live platform, there may be some delays, seconds delays lah. So that's normal. Hold on. Okay, so can we start our session today? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, I'm very glad to be hosting a session with our guest speaker from Kuantan campus, Kuliah of Dentistry, Associate Professor TS Dr. Muhammad Hafiz bin Arzmi, Associate Professor at the Kuliah of Dentistry, and now is holding position as Deputy Director at the Technology Transfer Office, Research Management Center. Okay, I will give you a brief biodata of our guest speaker today. He will be delivering a presentation on intellectual property, Chart Your Journey, which would help us to be informed on how can we manage our intellectual property. I hope that by the end of the session, we'll be more enlightened on this matter. He is a passionate microbiologist, immunologist, and inventor. His expertise includes polymicrobial interactions, biofilms, microbiomes, probiotics, and oral carcinogenesis. So there are many technical terms that might be difficult for me to spell out here. I'm sorry about that, Doctor. But I would like to warmly welcome you again to our session today. This is part of our Scholarship Advancement Program organized by the Department of Communication and our Center of Excellence, COMET, Center Communication and Media Center. So without further ado, I would like to invite our guest speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Hafiz, to deliver his presentation. Tafadhal.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good evening. Thank you very much to all the audience for joining us this evening. Also, I would like to thanks to the department for having me to share about my thoughts on intellectual property. This is, I think, a very privilege for me to share, particularly as the new Deputy Director of Technology Transfer Office. And the Technology Transfer Office was established like a few months ago in June. So you can imagine we have been here for 2 months. And then Alhamdulillah, I was appointed in the last, this is my 3rd week or 4th week of me as the Deputy Director. Anyway, Dr. Badri, would you mind if I share my screen? Is it okay? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Now, this is the, what do you call it? I'm going to share on a few things. Okay, this is the slide. I hope you can see my slide. So this is the title given to me in regards to the intellectual property, Chart Your Journey. So I'm sharing with you, dear fellow colleagues, my own journey. So from coming back from Melbourne University, doing PhD, and then after that, what did I plan? And alhamdulillah, now we know that my products has been commercialized, and then yeah, I'm going to share with you how actually I started my journey, how do I plan, and then how alhamdulillah eventually we have the product available in the market. Okay, so these are the thingy that I'm going to explain, or I'm going to share a little bit. I have 7 slides. So the first one is about to share with you guys what is TTO, who we are, and then the second one I'm going to touch about why do we need IP? Why IP? IP, is it so important? And then the third one I'm going to cover on what is intellectual property. Okay, the first one, it's about why do we have to apply for IP, and then what is IP by definition? What are the types of IP? Do we have other than copyrights? Is it only on patent? Most of the time we thought that IP is about patent, and then we sort of kind of demotivated because we thought that our invention or whatever we do is not reaching to the level of a patent, and we stop from applying IP. And the next one I'm also will be covering on when should we apply the IP? Should we wait until the end of our research? Should we wait until almost 5 years before we finish our contract or finish our career as the lecturer? Or should we apply immediately after we finish our FRGS or PRGS, whatever research grants that we have? And I am also will be covering on how to apply and who and what is the process flow. How long does it take? Does it take like 3 months, or can I settle patent within a week or 2? Is that possible? And last but not least, I will go for the conclusion in my 7th slide. Okay, now let's talk about TTO. Previously, TTO was known as INC, or Innovation of Commercialization. We are under RMC, Research Management Center, located at, we have our Cawangan in Gombak, so located at the 2nd floor, Research Management Center building, just next to what I call to our ICOL. And then we also have a branch in Kuantan campus. So for us, we have this is my team member. So we have Dr. Afa. Dr. Afa is the head of TTO. So she's in charge in regards to the exhibition. Okay, so if you want to go for exhibition, so she is the one who lead the exhibition. And in regards to the commercialization, and we have our senior AD, Brother Amin Nordin. So whenever you want to apply for patent, so he's the one who in charge in regards of your registration. He will be communicating with you if you want to apply for patent, if you want to apply for trademark, if you want to apply for what they call that trade secret. So he's the one who in charge. Everything about intellectual property will be under this guy in the middle, Brother Amin Nordin. And we have also an AD, Assistant Director, Brother Amir. So Brother Amir works on, he's in charge on what we call that exhibition. So if you want to go for exhibition, if you remember, there are a few emails sent or blast to our IIUM announcement in regards to the MTE. So Brother Amir is the one who in charge in when cascading all this information to our researchers in at IIUM. On top of that, we also open for training. Okay, so Brother Amir also in charge in training. So sometimes we open to our researcher if they have intention to attend for training like by Meranti or any other trainings that what we call that helps our researcher to go for commercialization. So these are the members of the team. So we also have our what we call Sister Ain, our N19, who actually helps us particularly in the management. Anyway, so these are the 3 person that you will be contacting most of the time. And on top of that, I am Hafiz. So we have 2 Hafiz here. One is the Hafiz deputy director, and me myself is the deputy director. So I am the one with more hair. So on the left, so this is me. I am Hafiz. I'm from the Kuliah of Dentistry, currently the deputy director of RMC portfolio on the Technology Transfer Office. So that is now moving on to the next thingy that I want to share. The topic that is given to me in regards to the IP, there are many things that we have to think about. Why should we apply for IP? And, as a researcher, we always, particularly at IIUM, we are always, most of the time, we are at the level at the bottom. Okay, if you can see here, there is a red dots, red lines. So we are almost, most of the time, we focus on this, the undergraduate and the postgraduate. We supervise postgraduate, we apply for grants, and then we have postgraduate. After applying FRGS, for example, there's a requirement for you to have a postgraduate, and then you supervise the postgraduate. Okay, and then definitely 100% of us, except from research center, for example. So we definitely have to focus on the undergraduate. We teach a lot. We have lots of KPIs, teaching students from one subject to another. We have to, from one topic to another, that kinds of routine. And some of us have like 20 credit hours. Some of us have like less than that. Some of us have 10 credit hours. But that is the normal academics. For us at the TTO, we bring you a little bit up. Okay, we go for giving you training. If you have, not only we guide you, but it has to come from the researchers. It has to come from our academics. If you have interest to give training, so we guide you how to give training. So this is extraordinary. The one at the top layer, okay, the one that is above the red lines. So these are the indicators that you have been doing more than what you are supposed to be done as a researcher, which is actually part of our KPI as well. Okay, so looking at the training, okay, so this our job as the researcher. We like, for example, in my lab, we do testing, and also some other laboratories, we do testing. So as far as I'm concerned, we have only one ISO 17025 certified laboratory, which is under the purview of Prof. Hafiz. So that is the only lab that we have so far, and there is another lab coming from the Kuliah of Dentistry, another ISO 17025 laboratory, inshallah. So this testing, it can bring or generate income from the university, can bring like millions of ringgit to the university every year. And then we have also, like some of us has been called as a reviewer or examiner, okay, or maybe as a panelist. Okay, so this is another job that we actually helps at RMC. Okay, and then most of us also the consultant, and I know, as I have been discussing with Dr. Baiduri, that most of you actually are the consultants, or you're giving talk. And now, even some of us, like me, myself, and some of the ustaz, so sometimes we go to masjid, and these people at the masjid, sometimes they call us to give like a khutbah, to give some talk on Islamization, ulumul Quran, Sunnah, Hadith, and so on. So sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time, they will give us some honorarium. So that honorarium actually can be counted as part of our, if you have an intention, okay, to register with university, to consider that as the KPI of you yourself as the consultant or expert review, giving sermon, giving khutbah at the masjid, okay, or giving kuliah at masjid, for example. So if you take that, some of the portion of what you receive from the honorarium and registered it with TTO office, okay, then in simple way, you are registering with RMC, then that can be counted as part of your KPI. And eventually that is also will be counted as your contribution to the MIRA. So it's very easy to become a consultant. The only problems that so far that I noticed is that we are not sure, or we are not aware how to register. So most of the time when we receive this honorarium, we always thought that, okay, this is only, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I received this, and then this is for me. But if you register some of your honorarium to the university, that can be counted as the what you call the point for MIRA, and that also be counted part of your consultation. So it's very simple to become a consultant, isn't it? And then on top of that, the highest part here is to have the spin-off and the startup. So at the university level, currently at my office, we are working on this policy. All right. Now moving on to why do we need this IP? Okay. On top of to fulfill our KPI, or to to make us feeling that we are contributing to the university, this is another thing that another what I call that thing that bring into my mind when I come back from Melbourne. I was thinking how I can make sure that whatever research that I do when I receive the funding, which comes from you when you are paying tax. So you are a part of some of the individual that is giving me the grants. So or whatever grants that we have actually it comes from the taxpayer. So I want to give back to the taxpayer who have been funding me during my undergraduate, my postgraduate, as well as to give back to people who have been spending money through tax and giving me the grants. So how do I give back to the what I call to our citizens of Malaysia, to the Malaysians? So I have to work collaboratively with the industry. So with the technology that I have, okay, with the invention that I have to patent it first. Only then I can either sell it, or in a legal term we call it as the what I call outright sale, or we can license it to the industry. So if you look into this slide, I don't understand Chinese, but Jardine Pharma has taken our product, okay, has taken my patent, and then they translate it into what I call toothpaste. So we have toothpaste that is already being commercialized by the industry, and Alhamdulillah, so far our toothpaste has reached to Qatar, okay, and then everything about the marketing, everything goes to the industry. For me as a researcher, I do research. I get as much as possible postgraduates and for them to do research. And then this outcome of the research, I translate it into patent, and eventually this patent, I license it or outright sell it to the industry that has interest to sell it. And eventually this company, when they gain or they earn money, so they have to pay tax. And this tax is returning back to the Malaysians, to you as in any form, maybe like scholarships to the other students and many others. So this is how you return back whatever money that you have been used, including your salary. Okay, and then these are among the products that we have. There are many other products. You can see on the left, this is the products I work since 2017 and managed to be commercialized last 2 years. Alhamdulillah, this product is available in the market and penetrated in some. Now in Malaysia, we just use the platform of the social, we use the herbitus.com. That is one of the platform, the online platform. However, in the industry, in other countries, we have been supplying to others to identify whether we can go, whether this product can be marketed overseas. So why do you need to have the IP before you can give to the industry to work on it? So you have to make sure that the IP or the intellectual property or your knowledge is actually secured. If you open it, if you publish it before you patent or before you protect it, and then eventually people can simply copy and paste, and then they make it and they claim it as their own product. Even actually you are the one who inspiring it, who have been working on it for a couple of years. So that is a very important why you need to go for filing for the IP. Now moving on to IP. When I keep on saying IP, Hafiz, what is IP? Okay, that is the main problems that we here at the university. We always thought that IP, it's all about patent, or patent is IP is patent. No, it's not true. Patent is part of the IP. Okay, we have many other types of IP. Okay, if you look into, I'm sharing with you, this is one of the very simple website where you can go and you can look at this. There are many types of IP, which include the patent itself. Utility innovation is patent or utility innovation, both of them are considered as IP. Trademark, when you have like you want to name your product, okay, so you name it, okay, and then you want to protect the name, so you want to say that this is special to my product, so you can trademark it. Okay, so name itself can be filed and for an IP. Industrial design, so this is another thing that you can IP. Geographical indication, and then we have also copyright. So the copyright can be many things. Okay, you can copyright your lecture notes, you can copyright your when you record your lectures. Okay, you can copyright your books, and many things. Okay, I will share about that later. And then these are among the things that you can file. Okay, so meaning that it is not limited to patent. It can be many types of intellectual properties. Intellectual properties can be patent, it can be copyright, it can be trademark, it can be industrial design. You draw anything, you want to copyright it. So that is also considered as something that can be called as the IP. So do not narrow your scope of IP to only patent. If your patent, when you file for patent, and eventually it is rejected, don't worry, you can go to other types of what they call intellectual property. The lowest type of IP that I can say is that the copyright. So even though this copyright is considered as something that is, the lowest ranking, okay, but copyright, if you count into the MyRA calculation, one copyright is equivalent to 10 Web of Science or Scopus Index journal. Imagine if you want to submit one article journal, it takes months, it takes years for you to do the research, and then it takes months for you to publish. You get rejected, and then modified, rejected, modified, rejected. And it takes time, isn't it? And then with copyright, it's actually worth of 10 Web of Science or Scopus Index journal in regards to the MyRA calculation. But yeah, you cannot say, okay, I have filed for copyrights and I don't have to publish 10 articles a year. No, it's not true. You still have to publish the articles, because now RMC has established what we call like a traffic light. Okay, you have the red light and you have the green light. So if you're not publishing 2 articles per year, and then it will keep as the red light. Okay, if you publish 2 articles, and then it will be changed to the green lights. That will be you can see that later in your IUM portal. If you know that there is an IUM portal, so you can see there RMC is putting it in to do, so at least you know that you are publishing or not. But what I'm trying to say here is that the marks that you get for copyright is actually equivalent to 10 journal articles. If you look into people who are always winning awards every year, sometimes they don't publish at all. They just go for copyrights. They copyright like 10 copyrights, and then eventually you can imagine 10 copyrights is equivalent to 10. You can times another 10, so equivalent to 100 journal articles. So that's why their ranking becomes, higher compared to those who always publish, but they don't have copyright. So that's why sometimes you query why these people have more, the ranking is higher than myself compared to the others, where this guy doesn't publish anything. This guy doesn't work community service, for example. This guy just stay at the office. Sometimes they come to the office, sometimes they don't come to the office, didn't show any effort. So, copyright is one of the things. MOU is another thing. Okay, MOA is even a lot of marks over there. So what I'm trying to say is that when you have the IP, as small as the copyright is, actually give marks to the MyRA, and it will increase you either to go for the 6 stars, 4 stars, and many others. Okay, so that is about the copyright. If you can go to the highest level, which is patent, that one is even better. So moving on to the next slide, I'm going to share with you what is intellectual property to summarize on this. So we have patent, we have trademark, which is when you have logo something. We have trade secret. Trade secret is, so for example, if you have a formulation, like, KFC. So people always trying to copy the KFC. So, but the original formulation for making KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, so has been trade secret. So no one knows what is the exact composition to make what I call the best butter for when you want to have whatever, whenever you want to copy KFC, there will never ever you can meet to that level. Similar to Coca-Cola, so it has been trade secret. So no one can copy exactly how the taste, the flavor of the Coca-Cola Coke. Yeah. So now that is a simple word to say about the IP. All right. Now the question about when. Again, my next slide is about when to apply for the intellectual property. Okay, at the Technology Transfer Office, okay, we cover Okay. Look at this. We have the website. Okay, so if you go for, you just Google RMC, for example, and then we'll bring you to this website. Okay, so we have like news, we have announcement, we have research cluster, and we have over here the technology transfer office focus web. So under this technology office, what do you call that, focus web? Okay, you can see that we have lots of what do you call tabs. Okay, among the tabs, we are improving this website. This is a very newly migrated website. Okay, so we have patent, we have trademark, copyright, trade secret. So everything is explained here. Okay, and then what you can see, we also give you some information. What are the things that IPR that is provided by our office, including the patent, trademark, copyright, trade secret, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then when to apply. Okay, so you can apply immediately after you finish your FRGS. Okay, before you publish into journals. So because you have the time frame, once you publish everything, okay, and then if you don't, you know, like file immediately, like 1 year, so you know it will actually affect you know, your application for patent. So the thing that you can publish is that, so for example, if you want to publish fundamental data, the results of it, it's okay. But the formulation itself cannot be mentioned in your publication. The moment you mention about the formulation, okay, it will definitely void your application for patent. So it does not mean that you cannot publish. You can publish, but there is a limitation so that it will not affect when you want to apply for patent or any of IP onwards. Okay, so that is, and then another thing, if you aware that we always you know, that encouraging our researcher to attend for exhibition, for example, MTE, ITEX, Pencipta, and so on. So if you plan to attend that exhibition, we will make a very strict rule that you must have an IP, whether it is a copyright, if you have patent, the list is copyright, because we don't want to jeopardize your invention. Imagine if you are not, you know, that it is, if your knowledge or your innovation or your invention is not yet protected, you go for exhibition, people go around looking, you know, they looking at all these products and they notice that your product is not yet protected. They can take your product, they can make it immediately, and they can file the patent immediately, or they can file they can file for whatever they want to file, the copyright immediately. So by the time you want to file your IP, and you notice that, oh, someone else has been filing the patent for my product, so at that time you cannot do anything because it has been filed, that it has been considered as other people's intellectual property. So when to file for IP, as soon as possible, once you completed your FRGS, or you know, for me myself, I didn't apply. I filed for my IP before I complete my FRGS. At that time, there is the internal grant. So nowadays there is still an internal grant for those who are newcomers. For those who are just registering with IUM, so you can register. You will get the grant. So for example, RICS. So I worked with RICS 17 at that time. So I have like a very small what do you call that, outcome of my research, and I write a very simple write-ups. I will share with you the forms. It is available in our website, and then you submit it, and eventually the moment you submit, and then you can start to apply to attend for the exhibition. Exhibition is very good, so it will expose yourself as an inventor, and people will start to recognize you. So that is my way, my journey. And the question comes back to the question, when to apply for IP? The soonest possible, when you know that your thing can be copied, your thing is in the form of prototypes, or what you have been doing, something that can be you know, people can claim as theirs. Okay, so at that time, go for copyright as soon as possible, or file for IP. If you know that it reached to the level of patent, then you go for the patent. So now,
Doctor,
yeah.
excuse me. So can we take a break for 2 minutes?
Okay, sure.
Just for 2 minutes to manage something. There are things that we need to attend to. So we'll come back in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Hang on,
So,
Dr. Yeah?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'll come back in 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes. Hold on, yeah?
Mhm.
Okay. Stay tuned, everybody.